More often than not, 911 call centers on the island are experiencing a disturbing trend: unintentional calls for help from cell phones. Dispatchers say they are so-called pocket calls and they tie up valuable resources. A News reporter Gord Kurbis has the story.
It's a communication center that last year received more than 66,000 911 calls. Operators were able to dispatch police resources to those in need, but nearly 6,000 of those calls came here purely by accident.
If you look at January 1st to April 30th of this year alone, we have spent an average of 95 to 130 hours just tracking down abandoned 911 calls from cell phones.
Dispatchers say cell phones are the biggest culprit. So far this year, 58% of the erroneous calls came from mobiles. That's an average of about 17 wrong calls every day.
Now you can imagine if somebody is traveling on a highway, it can be a lengthy time procedure for us to actually try to track someone down. A lot of time we get the subscriber information from the cell phone provider, in which we then have to send a police officer to the subscriber's house.
That's because dispatchers have a specific protocol they have to follow each time a 911 caller hangs up on them. That includes trying to call that person back 3 times. Dispatchers then have to contact the service provider, and if their GPS coordinates can be determined, an officer is sent to that last known location.
We've got these abandoned 911 calls that are coming from an area. We don't get told a specific location, and we're worried about these people, that they might need our help, but it's very frustrating because sometimes we cannot locate them.
Emergency dispatchers say there are several things that you can do to help cut down on the number of abandoned 911 calls. First of all, never carry your cell phone in your pocket, because as it's bouncing around, that's how most of the false pocket dialing takes place. And if you have a holster, make sure you always lock it before putting it inside here. And surprisingly, many people have 911 programmed into their speed dial, which isn't a good idea. And after all, how hard is it to remember 911? But dispatchers say the number one thing you can do to help out is, if your call accidentally does go through to their dispatch center, don't hang up. Make sure you talk to the operator and explain that it was an accident.
It saves several minutes of time from the operators and sometimes several hours for the police officers on the road.
Time that can be better spent helping others. In the Comox Valley, Gord Kurbis, A News.